Marc Raimondi for ESPN here with you today with PFL $1 million champion trying to defend that title coming up this season, Brendan Loughnane. Brendan, great to talk to you. Let's start right away. You have a fight coming up. It's the PFL season opener main event. Marlon Moraes, Las Vegas. Where are you now, by the way? Because last time we spoke, you were in an RV, like going across the United States. Are you in Vegas now? Are you there yet?
I'm actually in a stable home for once.
I'm glad to hear.
And I'm in Las Vegas. I actually have Wi-Fi now and like the whole 9 yards.
Amazing. I love it. So you're not moving. You're solid. You're good. All right. I'm
Well,
glad.
listen, I say I'm not moving. After the fight, I drove all the way across the States. Then I went to UK, Dubai, Thailand,
Yeah.
back to Dubai, and now I'm in Vegas. So I've been in many different countries and cities.
It's definitely been a heck of a few months for you. Hopefully you're putting that $1 million purse to good use, and not just for Wi-Fi in the places that you're going, but other nice things like for your girlfriend maybe. I want to ask you, it feels like, we're a few months removed now from the championship. We're going into the 2023 season, and I feel like, and correct me if you think I'm crazy, I feel like you've kind of become one of the faces of the PFL. I feel like you're kind of one of the guys that they promote, that you're kind of one of the guys who is on the posters and on the social media. Do you agree? It feels like that you're kind of one of their guys.
I mean, correct you if I'm wrong. Yeah, I'll correct you if you're wrong because you're wrong. I am the face now. I mean, Kayla's not doing a tournament. Pettis not doing a tournament. Rory, we're doing all these guys took a back seat now. And I mean, they need somebody to show up. You know what I mean? I'm here. This will be my 11th PFL fight now. 10 wins with the organization. Yeah. No, 9 wins, one loss. And like, I've been around this promotion for a long time. We've grown together. I was the first English fighter. Now they have a whole European scene. And yeah, I love fighting for the PFL. Love it. I love it. I'm glad they brought Marlon in because I needed some name value in my next fight. So, Las Vegas, Marlon Moraes, I mean, the stage is set.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that fight because he's on a little bit of a losing skid right now, but we've seen what he can do. He's still the same guy that has, knockouts over he has a knockout over the champion of the UFC, Aljamain Sterling, right? So this is a dangerous guy. Is it a little bit of a trap fight in a sense because, you see his recent results and it's not impressive, but he's still a very dangerous guy, is he not?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he was beating Shayman Moraes for 2.5 rounds and then just got caught. He's had some terrible luck. He was beating Marab comfortably. He was beating Cejudo. He beat Aldo. He beat Aljamain. Like, look at these names that I'm mentioning. Like, he's been in there with absolutely everyone. And now he's about to get in there with Brendan Loughnane. And, I've had a great camp and I feel really good for this fight. And I'm glad that they give me Marlon off the bat. I mean, I found out on a website. I had no idea that it was Marlon. I was like, okay, it's Marlon then. Another great thing that I love about the PFL, that there's no like, oh, my manager doesn't want my manager to fight him and all that. It's a tournament. You get who you get. You can get one of the 9 people and that's it. And yeah, I mean, Marlon, great stage, main event, Las Vegas. Got my face on a few billboards around Vegas. I'm living the dream.
Look at you. Look at you. Not bad for a kid from the UK, right?
You know what I mean? 2 champions now, don't forget. 2.
What's that?
We've got 2 champions now, don't forget.
That's true, of course. How could I forget? Of course, your countryman Leon Edwards is out there doing his thing. The fight against Moraes and the season, you brought up the tournament, and I've heard from so many people that this PFL tournament is so grueling. That year format where you're fighting a lot of fights in a short period of time against high level competition, and if you win, you got to keep going. How difficult is that? And this is going to be another season for you. Going into and now you're defending the title. You're kind of like the guy that everyone's gunning for. How difficult is that?
Can you see these gray hairs? this came from joining the PFL, by the way. So. Yeah, no, it's difficult. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life by a country mile. It scares the life out of me. It terrifies me every day. But, like, what is life if you're not scared every day and chasing something crazy like this, right? Like, literally, after the tournament, I was like, I'm not doing it again. I promised everybody, my family, my friends, my coach. Everyone was like, okay, ride off into the sunset. And then after about 2 weeks, I was just walking around the living room just like, well, what now? There's still so much in the tank. And I was like, let's go again. Why not? Let's go. I'm here. You know, I've got a rematch that I need to beat Movlead. They give me Marlon off the bat. There's a few tasty fights in there, a few tasty rematches. I'd like to fight Kudo again, with the first fight being close. So yeah, there's a few things that are left to do in my career yet.
Is that the Movlead Kaibalaya fight is one that you want to get back, right? Yes, you're only lost in the PFL.
Yeah, I went into that fight, you know, some really bad stuff in the background. Couldn't go back to the UK, loads of injuries, and I just feel like I want to fight him healthy now. I really do. I want to fight him with this version of Brendan's a much better version. I mean, I've had how many wrestlers back to back? I mean, Bubba and Wade, two national level wrestlers, couldn't take me down within 2 fights. So like now I've really improved that side of my game. I'm growing as a fighter, and I think, you know, if PFL put the bells and whistles on it, that's going to be a massive show.
And I think PFL, there's a big year ahead. There's a lot of still a lot of news. You know, maybe Francis Ngannou, you know, shows up and he fights for PFL. I know that, you know, they've been trying to even talk to Nate Diaz and trying to get him on board. Kayla Harrison's going to be in the superfight division, but the one person who is on board is Jake Paul. And as one of the faces of PFL, Brendan, I need to ask you about this. You know, how do you feel about Jake Paul not only being, I guess, like, you know, a partner in the company, but also he's actually going to fight in MMA, he says.
I like Jake. Me and Jake have been conversating since he took PFL stakes. He must have realised who I was then. He added me on Instagram. We've been talking back and forth. Jake's a cool guy, and I'm glad he's bringing more eyes to the PFL. I'm glad he's a stakeholder or whatever it is deal he has with them, but it's really benefiting me, you know. So it's like, keep them all coming, you know. Nate, and if they sign Francis, that's a power move, and I really hope that they do it. So let's see.
Who do you think Jake Paul fights in his MMA debut?
Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul in the PFL. That would be massive.
Here's what I want. I want him to fight him in boxing, and I want him to rematch in PFL.
That would be massive. That would be really huge for PFL. And I'm sure you'd probably want to be in the co-main event on that card.
Oh my, yeah. Like, exciting times, let's just put it that way.
So you did most of your camp, I think, at Bang Tao, right, in Thailand?
Tiger, Bang Tao, I was going to and from them gyms. Me, Rafael, Fiziev, Peter, Yan, all these guys. We had a hard, tough schedule going out there, and I did 6 weeks straight there. You know, still sparring all the top guys, still getting the same numbers on the track, personal bests on weights and all that. So the fire's still pretty much, it is burning. It's burning in a big way, and I think the fact that I get to fight Marlon, and like, it's not someone, like, no disrespect, like, I fought a random Bosnian guy last year, Kudo. No one really knows him. So these fights are like, oh yeah, Brendan's just going to win. But now everyone's like, oh, he's fighting Marlon. And it's like, yeah, he's fighting Marlon. So everybody knows how dangerous Marlon can be, and everyone knows how good I am. So it's time to go and prove it again.
Is Fiziev like one of your main sparring partners?
Fiziev, I would say, is probably the best guy I've ever sparred in my whole career.
He's a
I'd
monster.
say he's like number one. And I have been training with Rafael Fiziev before he even had an MMA fight. How about that? And he was just fighting Muay Thai. That's how long I've been training with Rafa. And that's how long I've known how good he is. And it's so good to see him getting the shine he deserves.
He was a coach, right, at Tiger Muay Thai before he even started fighting MMA, was he not?
Even before that, we were at Phuket top team together. That was even before.
Wow.
Before that, like, yeah, long time. Great guy, deserves everything.
Your teammate Muhammad Mokaev fought last week in the UFC, and a lot of people thought, just tap, man. That was that knee bar was. I'm sure you saw it. I mean, were you like streaming your TV, like, dude, just tap, or were you cool with that?
No, I've been in that position myself. I fought in ACA and broke my arm in the first round, and ended up finishing the guy in the third round. Like, English, we're built different around here. We really are.
And he's English and Dagestani, so he has the best of both.
Oof. He's going to take some beating with that mix.
How do you stay out of trouble training with Darren Till and Khamzat Chimaev? It feels like those guys are always up to some hijinks.
I mean, we're all up to something. It's great banter around the gym. But yeah, I mean, wow, yeah. When you name them names, me, Mohammed, Khamzat, Darren, Peter, Rafa. I mean, come on, like, what them names there alone. Like, we had a really good squad going, and I had a great camp with them guys.
I need your best Darren Till Khamzat Chimaev story. But PG-13.
To be honest, there's not really any because we were all in camp together. Everybody was training, so like, yeah, it was just train. So no funny stuff. But I mean, you know, I've not been out of camp with them guys yet, so we'll see after that.
I feel like Khamzat is just intense, like 24/7. Like that's just
not really.
Really?
Complete opposite. No. Complete really? Opposite. He's an absolute sweetheart. He really is. No, he is. He really is. That's the first time I've actually met him and got to spend time with him. Really good guy and not what I expected. Just a great gentleman.
You're gonna ruin his reputation by saying.
I know. Sorry, bro.
But I mean, I'm sure he's a beast in the room. I mean, he's got to be a monster on the mats.
Absolute animal. Intensity is through the roof. And it was great to be a part of his camp. Great to be in the same session as him and watching the way he commands the sessions and everybody just, when Khamzat talks, everyone listens. It's one of them, and like, man, we had a great time out there as a team.
So just to kind of pivot back to you, and we'll finish up with this. You know, defending the title for the first time, you already got $1 million in the bank from last year. What does the ideal year 2023 look like for Brendan? Would you say, like, what does that look like? I mean, is that a coming on a Jake Paul fight? Is that another 2 million? Is that your second million? What does that look like?
A bank account with millions of dollars in, beating Movlid Habalayev in the final in the Manchester Arena. You know, why not? Finishing up the season and boxing on an undercard of a Jake Paul thing somewhere. Just making millions of dollars and cementing my legacy as one of the best featherweights that ever lived.
You ever think about what would have happened if you didn't go for that takedown in the third round on Contender Series a few years ago?
I mean, that takedown earned me millions of dollars. Like, it earned me millions of dollars. So it's like a double-edged sword, right? I would have got what I wanted at the time, but what you want at the time is not always what's best for you. And I feel like my road got fully derailed. And although at the time I didn't know what I was going to do, everybody around me said it will work out for the best, you know, and I was like, how can this possibly work out for the best? This is all I've ever wanted. And lo and behold, hard work, resilience, you know, it does pay off. And at the time, I really couldn't see the bigger picture. And nobody could, right? Because PFL they'd done one season.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew what they were going to do. And then it's kind of like me and PFL met at a time where we're both like, what are we doing? And then together we went like this. And now it's just turning into this crazy thing. That's why I love Peter Murray and Eduardo and all the guys behind the scenes and Marc for getting me there and all these people that all came into my life at that moment. And then it all changed and created this Brendan Loughnane that you see now.
That might have been the richest or most valuable takedown in MMA history, or at least one of them.
No, I believe I would have made millions in the UFC too. I believe I would have been an absolute superstar because I've always had the skills. So I believe no matter where I would have went, you know, I can talk to you all day. I can speak to media. I fight hard. You know, I put my heart in there. I win fights. I fought all over the world against world-class guys. My career and my numbers speak to itself. I mean, 26-4 as a pro now, won 9 out of my last 10. Like, I'm on a roll. And like, I think now this season, it's about cementing the legacy, and my confidence is through the roof.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, you and like you said, you and PFL have both been going like this and now intersecting. I feel like 2023, it can be a really big year for Brendan Loughnane and PFL, right?
Agreed. And I'm ready to get it going. Let's get the show on the road. 9 days time, Las Vegas. Let's go.
Awesome. Brendan, thank you so much, man. Good luck the rest of the way. Should be a great fight against Marlon Moraes next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.